Today we'll be discussing the cream foundation and the intense cover concealer from Suqqu. Stay tuned. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, I'm the SP Nation. I'm an OG YouTuber that reviews luxury beauty all the time. As I always say, since you're already here, feel free to hit that like button, definitely hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, turn on those notification bells just so that you're aware of all the content that I have coming out. So I've heard about the brand Suqqu for quite some time. I've actually admired the brand for a couple of years now. I've looked at them from afar, specifically because I know that, it's not a brand that's actually carried domestically. So, it's not some, brand that I can actually run down to a mall and, go to a Neiman's, Nordstrom, what have you, and, actually look at the products because I'm an in-person shopper. I really do like to see certain things in person. And, with this brand, again, you have to go to a Harrods or go to a Selfridges. So, I went ahead, finally, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I bit the bullet and I made a purchase through Selfridges. Well, actually, I made two purchases. And I must tell you that the experience thus far has been amazing. And I must tell you that just based solely upon my first two orders with them, I highly recommend that you guys take a look at actually shopping through them because number one, I received both of these orders faster than I do from domestic companies. Companies that actually are shipping a product from California, New York, Tennessee, wherever. These products actually arrive faster. And also, if you take a look at their website, the products that they have on there, some of them actually are cheaper if you buy it from their website versus the United States. As far as I'm concerned, there's a number of benefits for shopping through Selfridges. So personally with me, as far as, future purchases that I make online, I'm probably going to go to Selfridges first to see if they actually carry it. And they also do get exclusives. They do have things that, other countries will not have, specifically the United States. So it's definitely something that's exciting to see. And now that, I've actually made two purchases, I know that, I can just log in and make my purchase and get out the dough. And I know it's gonna arrive on time. It's not gonna be 10 days like a Pat McGrath order. Child, I don't even want to talk about that right now. So this is how this order arrived. It actually arrives in this cute little sack. And of course today, this video is going to be about Suqqu's foundation, which they have expanded the shade range. They've made shades for people of color. It's not expansive at all. It's not, like people think that Clé de Peau is bad with, how they actually expanded their range. Or even La Mer, they think La Mer is very limited. No, baby. Suqqu is limited. So the foundation is called the Cream Foundation, and this is how it actually arrives. It comes in really nice black packaging. I also really like the jar. This is very luxurious. It's, right up my alley. It's what I expected. So here's the jar. It's a nice, beautiful black lacquer, really luxurious. And at the bottom of the box, they do also include a matching spatula so that you can actually, scoop out the product from the jar. This is the shade 150, and 150 is actually the shade before the deepest shade, which is 160. So here's a swatch of 150, and this is described as more of a neutral to golden type of undertone. So, okay. And you may have noticed that I was laughing just a moment ago just because the shade looks nothing like the way it was described to me and shown to me by an actual Suqqu artist, and we will get into that later in the video. And just so you're aware, I do have the Velvet Mineral Primer by Hourglass in my face and nothing else, so I'm going to go straight into the foundation. This type of foundation is one of those foundations where, initially when you look at it, you're like, oh my god, can I even wear this? It's just one of those things that just keeps happening with a lot of these brands. Now I'm just going to go in with a foundation brush from Dior. And of course, everything that I use will be left in the description box in case you're interested. I'm just going to go ahead and start blending this out. The shade looks very scary, but if you have followed me for quite some time, you've watched previous videos, you know that when, I'm showing you certain foundations, most notably the quickest one that I can reference is Guerlain's Lingerie de Peau. It looks crazy when I put it on initially, however, things start calming down, so don't panic just yet. Let's just keep going. Maybe Miss Suqqu got a surprise for us. Well, a good one. Not all surprises are good surprises. This definitely blends out like a dream, and it feels completely weightless on the skin. Now that I've half my face done, I will go ahead and do the second half. Also notice that this foundation has no smell to it, so there's no fragrance. Now that I have the second half finished, I will go ahead with a brush and, as usual, just blend out around the perimeter. The shade does start to calm down a bit and just melt in with my skin and not make me look crazy and ashy. I'm loving how this is making my skin look. For bronzer, I am going to go in with the Gucci bronzer, of course, in shade 4. Just want to keep up that radiance. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to hit y'all with a whisper as usual. This foundation just blended right into my skin. Beautiful. My goodness. Now I'm going to go in with their concealer. This is called the Intense Cover Concealer. And I decided to get this in shade 16. This too is the shade that's right before the deepest shade, which is why I got this. So here's shade 16 on the back of my hand. My God. Do I have concealers that are around this color? Yes, I do have some. But this one just looks a tinge lighter and it's getting to scary territory for me because we don't do that whole ashy highlight thing over here. I know I like to keep it natural, or as natural as possible anyway. I started doing this whole dot thing a while ago and I just keep doing it, so don't mind me. Now I'm just gonna take a sponge and blend this out. As you can see on my forehead and my nose area, it's just a slight highlight, so it looks really intense and it looks much lighter than you may think once it, actually hits your skin. It's very much like, it gives me Clé de Peau tease in that, with some of the Clé de Peau shades that I use, they seem really light to me and they seem like they would be really ashy on me. However, when I actually put them on, it's like a magic trick and it just works and I can't describe it. It must be some Japanese thing because, Clé de Peau's Japanese brand, Suka's Japanese brand. As it lays on the skin for a while, it does start to oxidize just a touch, so it doesn't actually look crazy under my eyes. So here's a concealer all blended out and it's called an intense concealer. One thing that I must say is that for me, this gives me a subtle highlight. It's not intense at all. And that's something to note with Japanese brands because when they say something is intense, they actually don't mean intense in, when it translates to, American standards of intense. This is actually something that comes off more as soft and natural, and you can clearly see that. Hopefully this is translating on camera because this is exactly the way I like my makeup to look. This is the one. This is it. Like this is exactly what I like. On the lips, I'm going to use the Comfort Lip Fluid Fog, and this is in shade 7. And here's a swatch of that shade on the back of my hand. It's just a soft, warm brown. This is a beautiful formula. And I chose this shade specifically because, I wanted something that, would be more of a nude for my skin tone and just for my lips. And this just kind of just goes straight into my lips and just gives me a more natural nude lip, which I love. And it's not sticky. I just want to put more on just because I really like the way this feels. It feels very natural on the lips. Just natural and beautiful. For the eyes, just a little Dark Star. For the brows, I'm just going to use a little bit of the Brow Blade from Urban Decay. And just because I have it close to me, I'm going to go in with a little bit of Addiction from Laura Mercier for my highlight. And this is a face illuminator. And of course, as I've said in a previous video, just not showing it to you because it's completely shattered. And as a final touch, I'll just set my foundation with the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray from Charlotte Tilbury. Okay guys, so let's talk about it. The cream foundation is a 30-gram jar, which is the equivalent to a little bit over an ounce. This foundation comes in 12 different shades, and on the Selfridges site, it does go for $76. And the following information is directly from Suku's website. Suku's Glow for Feminine Beauty. A more precise, delicate, and melted-in glow. A glow that shifts and changes with time, refined for enhanced beauty at every stage. Feels smooth to the touch, becoming one with the skin, and giving the skin a melted-in natural glow. The new cream foundation, Suku's is luxurious yet, contains 13 plant-based ingredients made in Japan. Okay, so as far as how they describe this foundation, I agree 100% when they describe it as, something that just kind of melts into your skin and just gives you this glow. This foundation, it's another Japanese mystery for me. It's a Japanese unsolved mystery within luxury beauty. I don't understand how they make stuff like this. And then you have these American brands or even French luxury brands. They don't make stuff like Japanese makeup. Japanese makeup is probably my favorite type of makeup, hands down, just because the products that I have reviewed recently and just products that I've used, over the years, the Japanese ones in particular usually do stand out the most. This foundation looks This looks absolutely stunning on the skin. And of course, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the shade range. I must get into that just because the shade range, let's admit it, it's pitiful. I mean, they offer 12 different options, and out of those options, I'll be generous and say shade 140 through 160 are, you know, deeper tones, which again, I don't consider it deep, but hey, I would say shade 140, 150, which is the shade that I'm wearing, and 160 would be more so your deeper tones. And you know, though the range is not amazing, it's one of those things where if you can wear one of these shades, you will be highly pleased with this foundation. This again, it's giving me like a very much a Clé de Peau experience where it's just like this soft, natural, not matte, but it just gives you this lit from within radiance that looks absolutely beautiful on the skin. It's very natural. It lasts all day long. I've tested this several times. Originally, when I got my package, I was pissed, to be completely frank with you guys, because one of the artists I was communicating with on Instagram, he had sent me swatches of the foundation shades and of the concealer shades just so that it would be easier for me to make an educated decision, or the best educated decision. And you know, I was like, cool, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and get 150 because I was assuming that 150 would get much darker, so I felt really confident with purchasing that. However, when I received it in person, you will see, you know, in this video, you can see that the swatches of this foundation look nothing like these images, and that's really unfortunate. I don't know if those images were taken when this was like, you know, when he had like lab samples of it or something, and they hadn't made a final decision. But the 150 he showed me in that picture, that's not what I received in person, because 150 looks nothing like that. But I will say that again, 150, though it looks crazy, and it looks a bit light on the skin, you know, when I'm actually staring at it on the back of my hand, when you put it on your face, honey, and you start to blend it out, and I'm not saying blending it out to the point where it's literally invisible and you just basically, you know, absorbed everything on a brush or something. When you actually blended out the foundation, it's like Clé de Peau, where it's like this magic trick, and it's just like everything just disappears, and it's just flawless, and it works. Because, you know, like I said, with the concealer, it's the same situation. With the concealer, I believe there's 7 different shades, and that's pitiful as well. But, you know, 2 of the shades are for deeper complexions, and my shade is right before the deepest. It looks really light, and it looks like it's going to be ashy on my skin. However, once I start to pat it into my skin, it just kind of dissolves, and it gives a subtle highlight, which is exactly what y'all know I like. I love when makeup just looks really natural, as close to his skin as possible, and just makes you look just flawless, but not, you know, abnormally flawless. Like, this makes my skin look flawless. This is this is beautiful. And since I did mention the concealer, let's get into that for just a moment. The Intense Cover Concealer, it does come in 7 different shades. It is only, in terms of the size, it's 6 grams of product, so it is considerably small. And on the Selfridges site, this does go for $40.50. An astonishingly high coverage glow in an astonishingly thin veil melts into skin for smooth coverage of your skin's inconsistencies. Concealer that offers high coverage without that cakey covered up look. A formula that melts into a smooth layer into the skin and stays put without creasing or breaking apart. Infused with an original blend of silky powder for a finish that affords a delicate spun silk glow. So as I briefly mentioned, the concealer, it comes in a very limited shade range, and I would say out of the 7, if I'm being generous again, the last 3 shades, you know, would be shades that would be more so geared for people of color. I would definitely say that the last 2 are definitely, you know, something that would be the closest, but we can go back just one step further. But like I said, like Clé de Peau, it just dissolves into the skin, and it just leaves like this flawless, beautiful look. I will also note that, you know, it's called Intense Cover Concealer, but as far as the intensity, it's not over the top. It's not a sheer concealer, but it's not like spackle, if that makes sense. I would definitely say that, you know, it does cover up, you know, what I need to cover up or what I desire to cover up. I have no issues with that. It leaves this nice, beautiful finish on the skin. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous concealer, and I'm very excited to have it because this is definitely right up here. I'm going to like put this next to a Clé de Peau because the experience is the same, in that, you know, when I actually put it on, it just does this magic trick. I don't know any other way to describe this concealer. Another thing that I would like to note about these is that though I have natural creasing under my eyes, with this concealer, I literally just have to put like a touch of powder under my eyes and everything is just flawless, which I absolutely love. And even the foundation on my face, I didn't actually put any setting powder on any area of my face, with exception to my under eye area. I put no setting powder anywhere because foundation kind of sets itself and I have no need to actually put on powder. There's just so many pluses with this foundation that, you know, I would highly recommend it to anyone really. It is a cream foundation, so, you know, that can get a bit messy. That's one of the downsides to it, is the packaging, of course. As far as who this foundation is for, I would definitely say that, you know, if you're looking for a medium to full coverage type of foundation, or even a foundation that can perform various tricks and that it can, you know, go as far as sheer to full coverage, I would highly recommend that you check out this foundation. If you are normal to dry, normal to combination, I don't think you would have any issues with this foundation whatsoever. I'm not sure about, you know, if you're actually someone who is very oily, but again, if you are somebody who's oily, you know that, you know, with a lot of foundations, you may experience some issues. So that is something to consider with this foundation. But again, when it actually just hits the skin and it sets and everything's just beautiful, it just gives this natural, beautiful finish. So it's not, you know, overly radiant, overly luminous, dewy, none of that. So I think this foundation actually could be used for every skin type. This foundation I don't know. I'm having that feeling like Clé de Peau. I'm not sure. This foundation makes my skin look absolutely beautiful. And the concealer, like I said, it does everything that I want a concealer to do as well. So both of these combined have been a very nice surprise. Of course, buying makeup online can be very problematic, but when you're buying something that's, you know, from the UK, and it's not something that, you know, I can go, you know, to a store and experience, it makes you very nervous, and it made me very nervous to make a purchase. However, like I said, Selfridges, amazing. Had no issues at all with my purchase. It was really fast. I literally placed an order in the middle of the night and it was like, I swear it arrived in probably 3 to 4 days. It's amazing. Highly recommend to shop on Selfridges. And, you know, again, I will leave links to everything down below. You can definitely check out these products on the Selfridges site. I will, you know, include all the information that I can just so that you can make the best educated decision when deciding to purchase this foundation. I was someone who, when, like I said, I got the foundation, and when I looked at it in the jar, I was very upset because the shade did not look right. It did not look like it would do what I needed it to do. I really thought I was going to be casket shop, but once I actually put it on my skin, it was a Clé de Peau, Lingerie de Peau, Guerlain experience where it didn't actually do what I was assuming. And that's just, you know, one of those mysteries within luxury beauty, specifically Japanese luxury beauty. Definitely let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've tried Suqqu. I'm glad I could bring this to you because I haven't seen anyone of my skin tone who's actually made a review of the new cream foundation from Suqqu. So definitely leave all your comments below, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with a whole lot more, guys. Bye.